So here we have 3 times quantity 2 minus 5x plus 4 times 6x equals 12. And this example combines a lot of the kind of approaches we've been working on building up to this example. So let's first use the distributive property. Right, this 3 is going to come through to both of these terms. Right there, okay. So we have 3 times 2 is 6, minus 3 times 5 is 15x. Okay, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 24x equals 12. All right, combine like terms. There we have 15x and 24x. So negative 15x plus 24x, that comes to 9x. So 6 plus 9x equals 12. All right. We want to get the x alone on one side, everything else to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 9x equals 6. And then again, we're getting x by itself. Divide both sides by 9. That gives us x equals 6/9. But you wouldn't want to leave your answer like this, right? This isn't simplified. Okay, we want to simplify this. Both 6 and 9 have a 3 in them. So if I were to cancel a 3 out of both of these, we'd be left with a 2 up here and a 3 down here. So that gives us 2/3. There's our answer. Let's try another one. Okay, so this one has some fractions. 4/5 x minus 8/5 equals negative 16/5. And here we're going to use one of the most useful tricks in the course. It's called clearing fractions. Clearing fractions. And the reasoning behind this is fractions are hard to work with, and numbers without fractions aren't. So anytime we can get rid of fractions, we should get rid of fractions. Okay, so let's see. We look at the denominators here. Notice that we have 5 in all 3 denominators. So if we could just get rid of that 5 in the denominator, our problem would be much easier, and we can. So here's the trick, and you need to have an equal sign to do this clear fractions. If you don't have an equal sign, you cannot use the clearing fractions trick. So I'm going to say right here, must have equal sign. But learn this trick. We're going to be using this all through the course. All right, so let's see here. So I'm going to take this 5. This is my denominator. Eventually, we'll learn that you do this with what's called the least common denominator. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. Okay, bear with me. It's going to make this a lot simpler. Now when I distribute here, I'm going to distribute this 5 through each of these terms. And when I do that, it's going to cancel the 5 out of the denominator in each of these. So what that leaves us with is 4x minus 8. See what happened there? The 5 just canceled out. We multiplied this 5 through to each of these terms. The 5 in the denominator canceled out. Over here, the 5's canceled again, and we have negative 16. Look how much simpler that is. Right? It's a really useful trick. Now we can just solve for x like we've always done. 4x, I'm going to add an 8 to both sides. That gives us 4x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 4 here. We get x equals negative 2. All right, let's try this clearing fractions again. Okay, we have 2/9 x minus 1/3 equals 1. Again, these fractions make things hard, but if we can get rid of the fractions, it's going to become a much easier problem. All right, so in this case, we don't have the same denominator. In fact, this one over here doesn't have any denominator, which means it's really just 1 in the denominator. So what can we do? Well, in this case, take the larger of the two. We have 9 and 3, so let's take the 9. Right, and I'm going to multiply both sides by the 9. Again, this is the clearing fractions technique. Got to do it to both sides. Be fair, you can't do something to one side of the equal side without doing it to the other. All right, we distribute that 9 through to both of these. When that happens, let's kind of do this in slow motion here. We have 9 times 2/9 2x minus 9 times 1/3. Let's put parentheses around these to be consistent. Okay, equals 9. Okay, here the 9 and the 9 cancel. Over here we have a 9 on top, a 3 in the bottom, so those cancel, leaving a 3 on top. Okay, so what are we left with? 2x minus 3 equals 9. Much easier. All right, we can just solve that as usual. I'm going to add a 3 to both sides. So plus 3, 2x equals 12, and then divide both sides by 2. That gives us x equals 6.